Babies with low birth weight are common. Each year, 22 million babies are born weighing less than 2.5 kilos. These are 16% of the world's newborns. These preterm and small babies are at risk of early death or poor health compared to full-term babies of normal weight. 95% of the world's low birth weight babies are born in the developing countries. As these countries work to reduce infant mortality and morbidity, proper feeding of all babies is essential.
It has been shown that full terms grow very well on breast milk alone within the first 4 to 6 months. The same situation pertains for the infant who is preterm that is fed on the mother's breast milk, the same. So they grow very well at the expected rate of 20 to 30 grams per day.
Even before the baby is born, factors affecting the pregnant mother can lead to low birth weight. These factors include poor nutrition during pregnancy, youth of the mother, overwork, infections and illnesses, and probably genetic differences. Rates vary from 7% of newborns in developed countries to 14% in Africa and 20% in Asia. These babies have little energy. They may lack swallowing and sucking reflexes. They may have breathing difficulties, jaundice, infections, and other problems. These problems have in the past discouraged mothers and health workers from establishing breastfeeding. Yet mother's milk is what the baby should have. In 1985, a group of experts called together by the World Health Organization and UNICEF concluded that only a very few babies, perhaps 1 in 5,000, cannot be fed on breast milk due to rare inherited disorders. Such contraindications are very unusual. For the vast majority of babies, breast milk feeding from birth is the best form of feeding. Colostrum and breast milk provide significant protection against diarrhea and other infections which cannot be given by any alternative feed.
Looking at the composition of human breast milk, one finds some minor variation, biochemical variation, between the term milk and the preterm milk. You find that the term milk contains less of proteins and less of electrolytes like sodium and calcium.
Preterm milk is especially adapted to the needs of premature babies. Extra water, sugar or salt are not needed by babies given only their mother's milk. What feeding method then is best when a baby cannot yet breastfeed directly? For giving expressed breast milk, cups are better than bottles. Any sucking at a bottle disturbs the baby's response to the breast later on, a problem called nipple confusion. It has been demonstrated that cups do not cause nipple confusion. Many studies have shown that even full-term babies are healthier when they are exclusively breastfed. There is a greater chance that the baby will fall ill or die if bottle feeds are added to breast feeds. One study in Latin America has shown much higher mortality at 3 months among babies given bottle supplements to breastfeeding. Once bottles were added, breastfeeding could no longer protect the baby's health. In a Middle Eastern study, 7% of babies fed on breast plus bottle had severe diarrhea, in the first 6 months, and 18% were malnourished. Babies exclusively breastfed were almost completely protected from these problems. The supplemental bottle, which mothers and health workers may have believed to be a kind of nutrition insurance, is in fact a threat to the baby's health. A main objective of special care units must then be to establish exclusive breastfeeding before discharge.
Magonjwa ya kifua, magonjwa ya ngozi, yanamletea mapenzi.
Pediatricians at the University of Nairobi have shown that preterm mothers can produce plenty of milk.
Late in 1983, we did study some early breast milk from 37 Kenyan mothers who delivered prematurely. They had a mean gestational period of 30.3 weeks. That is, they delivered about 10 weeks prematurely. They were on a balanced but ordinary hospital diet, basically milk, vegetables, and staple. They stayed in hospital in close contact with their babies, and they had ample encouragement from each other and the staff. They hand expressed the breast milk every 3 hours, that is 8 times a day, to feed their own babies. We found plentiful production of breast milk and colostrum among these mothers. During the first week, that is day 3 to day 5, there was a mean volume of 273 meals a day. This mean volume went up during the second week of lactation, day 8 to 11, to 483 milliliters a day, and this went up even further during the third week of lactation to 600 milliliters a day. Breast milk production under supportive circumstances exceeded babies' needs per day, as illustrated by an infant whose birth weight is 1,500 grams. The requirements of this infant, assuming normal body weight changes during this time, would be roughly 150 milliliters of milk on day 3, 300 milliliters of milk on day 8.
The Nairobi study shows that regular and frequent hand expression is one key to successful milk production among preterm mothers. Daily mother-baby contact is also a key factor. This contact helps develop a strong attachment known as bonding. Research has shown that early and continuing mother-baby closeness improves their long-term relationship. Bonded mothers are less likely to abandon, neglect, or abuse their children, and they breastfeed for more months than mothers who are separated from their newborns. Establishment of bonding has become a major concern of special care units.
These babies, they need a lot of stimulation, especially when the nurses are changing the babies. They are supposed to touch them and stroke them, and also even before they do anything to the babies. The other thing which they should do is to encourage the mothers also at the same time, for the mothers to come and look at these babies and view them, and especially when these babies start having opening their eyes, they can also look at the baby's eyes and establish eye contact. Contact is not only established by breastfeeding, even touching, physical contact.
Babies of this age also hear. They need to be talked to by nurses and by their mothers. A number of hospitals in Kenya successfully establish exclusive breast milk feeding and close bonding. At Kenyatta National Teaching Hospital, healthy newborns of more than 2 kilos stay with the mother and breastfeed from birth. This 2.4 kilo girl, a few hours old, is already well started. Babies born by cesarean also stay with their mothers from birth unless they have a specific problem. They breastfeed on demand beginning 3 to 4 hours after delivery. Babies of under 2 kilos or with special problems are admitted to the newborn unit.
Here in the newborn unit, we at Kenyatta National Hospital, we care for the sick and low birth weight babies. All the well babies who are delivered at Kenyatta National Hospital remain with their mothers. So only the small ones and the sick ones come to the newborn unit. The mothers whose babies come to our unit stay close by in the hostel, and they provide breast milk for their babies. They come in and express the milk every 3 hours throughout the day and night, and the milk is given to their respective babies. We focus very much on use of breast milk because we believe it is the best for even low birth weight babies. Now the milk we use is given straight from the mother to the baby.
Hand expression is the only milk collection method used. Women develop their own styles of expressing milk. To milk the breasts effectively can take 20 minutes or longer. The fingers should press over the milk sinuses. Squeezing the breast farther back is not so effective. Squeezing the nipple itself may stop the flow. At first, only a few drops come. Then, as the letdown or milk ejection reflex starts, the flow becomes freer. Being close to other women and receiving encouragement from a nurse or a breastfeeding counselor are helpful. Expressed milk is used immediately without heating or storing. At Kenyatta, babies with nasogastric tubes are given their mother's milk by staff members. Depending on the age and condition of the baby, supplements of calcium, iron, and vitamins may be added.
The babies remain with us until they attain a weight of at least 1850 grams. That is if they started off very small. But before we discharge them, we make sure that the babies are entirely on breastfeeding, and we want to make sure that the babies are gaining weight adequately through breastfeeding alone without any other supplements. We normally introduce cup feeding at the weight of 1600 grams, and when the babies attain a weight of 1700 grams, we ask the mothers to put the babies on the breast. In between 16 and 17, some of the mothers are very keen to put the babies on the breast. We do not discourage them, but we find that the mothers would have to express and supplement the breastfeeding.
A 1650-gram baby sucks when held very close to the mother with his back and head straight. A baby of 1750 grams sucks strongly a few times, then pauses and rests for a time. This pattern, a little group or burst of sucks, then a pause, is common among small babies. The mother should let the baby rest on the breast between bursts of sucking. Trying to make the baby feed faster is not helpful. After a feed from the breast, the baby's mother gives a measured cup feed. Extra milk can be added to make up for the bit that may spill during feeding. Jaundiced babies are fed like others. If they are cup feeding, an extra 20% is measured to make up for fluid lost in phototherapy. Much more than food passes between a mother and her baby. Community hospitals can also establish such programs. Pumwani is a public maternity hospital serving all of Nairobi.
Pumwani Maternity Hospital was started way back in 1926. Today, we do admit a total number of 28,000 mothers every year. And out of this, we have 26,000 deliveries. The hospital serves as a referral hospital for the maternity units which are in the periphery and also run by the Commission. We do deal with all complicated cases.
The special care unit at Pumwani Hospital is a very busy one. We have an average of 70 to 80 babies at any one time. And these babies have such conditions as low birth weight, birth injuries, asphyxia, jaundice, and congenital abnormalities. What we aim at in housing the mothers in the hospital, sometimes for weeks or months, is first and foremost to achieve an adequate production, flow, and supply of breast milk for the babies. Secondly, to achieve a close mother-to-child bond. And also I would like to add, at the same time, we are able to achieve a successful bonding between mothers and mothers.
Low birth weight babies must be kept very warm. Nurseries here are well heated, allowing the babies to be unwrapped. A mother's skin-to-skin contact with her unwrapped baby promotes good bonding.
This is our milk kitchen.
We don't have any milk here right now with us. The milk is all in the mothers because we use breast milk for feeding our babies, all the babies we have in the nursery. And this is where we keep our feeding utensils. Here we keep small cups in which the mothers express the milk, and then from there we measure for them to feed the babies. We sterilize these cups just by simple sterilization by using sterilizing fluid.
Although hand expression is the only method used to collect milk for feeding, a very few mothers do use hand or electric pumps to relieve occasional engorgement or to stimulate the milk supply.
Kama mlivyoona hapo mwanzoni, huyu mama aliingia hapa bila kuwa na maziwa yoyote, lakini sasa baada ya dakika chache kuweka hii mashini, mnaona kwamba maziwa yameanza kutoka.
Unlike Kenyatta, Pumwani nursery uses oral tubes for feeding the smaller babies. The sterilized tube is inserted by a nurse at each feed. Doctors at Pumwani feel there is less irritation and mucus discharge than with nasogastric tubes. Possibly bonding is also better without the disturbing effect of a tube taped to the baby's face. The mother herself pours her milk into the oral tube. From the start, she knows she is providing all her baby's food. The technique allows mothers to be closely involved in feeding even before the baby can swallow. Babies of 1850 grams start cup and breastfeeding. Early experience of the nipple has learning value. This baby licks the nipple now. She will be ready to suck in a few days. Extra care is needed in fixing these babies. Stomach against the mother's body and chin close against her breast. The baby should not turn his head or stretch his neck to reach the breast. Quiet observation is part of good support. The many twins born here are exclusively breastfed for 4 to 6 months like other babies. Once discharged, mothers breastfeed on demand day and night. Sleeping with the babies is encouraged. At the follow-up clinic, 4-month-old twins now weigh 4.8 kilos each on breast milk alone. Careful follow-up is a feature of both Pumwani and Kenyatta programs.
This baby is now aged 3 months. He was born at 32 weeks gestation at a weight of 1,200 grams. He is now weighing 3.2 kilograms and he has more than doubled his birth weight. Currently, the mother is only breastfeeding, and I would encourage her to continue breastfeeding for at least another month before she starts introducing anything else. Baby Ngugi is now 2 months of age. He was born at 28 weeks with a weight of 1,400 grams. He is now weighing 2,100 grams. The mother is just breastfeeding, and no addition is recommended to her. She's to continue breastfeeding. We also give her supplement of iron.
Poor weight gain may be caused by water feeds. Whenever a baby is thirsty, the mother should breastfeed. These two programs differ, yet both are effective. What are their important features? Free accommodation for mothers within the hospital, frequent mother-baby contact every day, exclusive use of the mother's own colostrum and milk, support from other mothers and from staff, no bottles, progress from tube to cup, and from cup to breastfeeding, leading to discharge at between 1850 and 2000 grams, breastfeeding without supplemental feeds for 4 months, and frequent, careful follow-up. How did the staffs of these hospitals make the change?
Always changing a habit, changing a practice from one to another causes quite a bit of difficulties, however good the practice that you're changing to is.
In 1978, babies were being fed with artificial milk. We had a lot of diarrhea. But before that, I was in school, and I was teaching students that artificial milk is not good. Breast milk is the best for the mother, for the babies. When I was transferred here, I realized I've been teaching that, and yet I'm practicing wrong.
Since we started using breast milk for feeding and phasing out formula feeds, our infection rates have dropped. We have now less diarrhea and other infections.
We can see now it was not the mothers who were not interested in the breastfeeding. It was our technique which was wrong in using the bottle, and yet we wanted the babies to breastfeed.
And although we had agreed in principle that we were going to make this change, there were a few members of staff who did not support it. So it was a bit difficult to begin with, and this brought a lot of discussions, and until in the end we all agreed we were going to use the cup.
Once you're convinced about the usefulness of a program, you should make an effort to change it. The difficulties that may come up can be ironed out with a lot of encouragement on the staff.
Kendaima mpunga ni wako wakuja unyamae.